Hey everyone, Zach here from Windows Central and welcome back to another video. Now today we're taking a quick look at Windows 10 build 21337. This build includes a number of notable changes and enhancements over the last few builds and indeed the last build video that we did. So let's dive straight in. The first notable change is with some of the pre-installed apps. Actually, before I get to that, let's talk about the wallpaper, because this wallpaper is new in this build. Kind of. I don't think this feature is actually officially enabled yet, but you can go in and enable it if you know how to do it. And what that does is sort of show you this wallpaper and put this in the corner. Learn more about this picture. Now, if we double click on that, that will open our web browser and take us to wherever this wallpaper came from. So what is this? This is a new feature Microsoft is working on called Desktop Spotlight, which if we jump into personalization, you will see here, or Spotlight Collection, sorry. And what this does is essentially take the Bing daily image and set it as your desktop wallpaper. You've always been able to do this with the lock screen. In fact, I think mine is actually set to be Spotlight right now. But Microsoft is working on it, so you can set the desktop as your Bing daily wallpaper as well. Now, right now, it doesn't actually really work properly. This is a sort of just demo wallpaper that they set as default. But the sort of main thing I'm showing you here is that when this does start working, there's this little learn more about this picture icon that gets placed in the bottom right. You can not remove it apparently, but if you right click and select deselect show desktop icons, you will be able to hide it just like that if that's something you don't want in the corner. Again, this is also still in development. There may be more options and features that come with it when it's done, but in this build it's kind of half enableable if you know how to do it, and that's sort of what it does. So I figured that would be a good way to start the video. Now on to some of the more official stuff that Microsoft is testing in this build. Microsoft has made some changes to the inbox apps with this build. They've removed some and added some. Paint 3D is gone, and I believe the old school math input panel is gone as well. But in place of that, Microsoft has promoted Notepad from the Windows accessories folder to the sort of main apps list here and given it a new icon. This is something they sort of were testing, I think about a year ago, maybe a bit longer than that, but now it's back in the builds and they are testing it again. If we go into About Notepad here, you'll see that, yep, new icon, new version of Notepad. The feature set's still the same, the app is still identical. Maybe they're planning to add some new things to it soon, but as of right now, they've promoted it from the Windows accessories folder into the main app list. They've also updated its icon, and it's now updatable via the Microsoft Store. So instead of being tied to Windows OS updates, Microsoft can push out newer things to it whenever they feel like it. So that's pretty cool. Moving on, Microsoft has also now started to bundle Windows Terminal. I'm sure this will eventually replace, PowerShell in the Windows X menu and stuff. But as of right now, Windows Terminal is now in the main apps list. It's now pre-installed on Windows 10. And this is essentially an all-in-one command prompt. So it can do your PowerShell, it can do standard CMD stuff, Azure Cloud Shell. It can do everything. It's pretty cool. So we can sort of do WinVer here, and that will pull up WinVer just like you would expect. Finally, if we go into the Windows accessories folder, Microsoft has added Power Automate Desktop as one of the inbox apps on Windows 10. Now what this does is allow you to sort of automate processes on your device. So if we click on a new flow here, I will do a very basic one, rename folder, because why not? Right, so give that a second to load. So in here we can create rules and processes that this automation has to do. So for example, if we want to rename a folder, let's create a folder first. Let's go into our C drive here. Let's create a new folder called Secrets. And I want this, what do they call it? Flow to rename a folder if it exists. So we want to select the path here. Let's go down to our C drive and select the secrets folder. So if folder exists called secrets, we want to rename it. So let's find rename folder, drag that in and place it just below the first rule here. So we need to select the folder to rename. Secrets. And we can change it to not secrets. And then the variables produced, rename folder, press OK. So now if we ran this flow, you'd see here's the secrets folder. If I press on run here, that has now been renamed to not secrets. Now, that's a very, very basic example of what this application can do. As you can see, the possibilities are basically endless. There's so many different things you can do here. Command prompt sessions, PDF, date time, Outlook, Exchange, email, services, XML, Active Directory, cognitive. There's so many different things you can explore in here. So definitely give it a try. That was my very basic demo of what this can do. And believe me, that was basic. So yes, we'll save that. But yes, that's now pre-installed on Windows 10, which is really nice. You no longer have to go into the Microsoft Store to download it. Super cool. So moving right along, the next notable change is with the File Explorer itself. You may have already noticed it. It's a subtle change and one that I'm not sure many people will enjoy. But Microsoft has changed the padding of File Explorer. So now things are a little bit more spread apart, you can see here. So if we select all of these, it might be a little bit more obvious. But there's now a gap between selected things. In some areas, not others. But you can turn this off. If we go into options here, go to view, scroll down, and select use compact mode, this will return the Explorer to its sort of old school condensed UI, which looks a lot more like this. So there you go. That's another change Microsoft is testing. I'm sure this isn't done. I'm sure the reason why the sort of more spaced mode looks so weird is because it's not done and they're planning to add more UI stuff to File Explorer. But for now, this is what it kind of looks like. And yeah. So another thing we want to quickly talk about here is the new icons that are sort of showing up all over the place. This was introduced a couple builds back, but if you look here in the start menu, these icons are a little bit different, as are the icons in the settings app here. And on the home page in the settings app. So this will begin showing up throughout the system more and more. Right now it's only in a few places here and there. But these are Microsoft's new Fluent design style icons. They're no longer using MDL2 icons. These are much more sort of rounded and a little bit more fun. So you'll start noticing that as you go through the OS. Now, if we open up Task View here, Microsoft has added some new features to virtual desktops. So if we click on New Desktop here, you can now rearrange virtual desktops inside the virtual desktop UI, which is super nice. You've always been able to rename them, but that's still here, of course. And you can also now choose the background of each virtual desktop. So if we choose a background here, just set the sort of default one, why not? How about that one? Yep. So now we can have different wallpapers across our different virtual desktops, or at least that's the theory, but it didn't work here. So let's try that again. Choose background, picture. How about that one? There we go. Now hopefully it's not working. Okay, but the idea is you will eventually be able to set your wallpaper across different virtual desktops, which is great for those of you who actually do use virtual desktops and have different virtual desktops for different things. Being able to set the wallpaper can just make it so it's easier to differentiate between each virtual desktop, which is kind of nice. Now, another feature that Microsoft is working on that isn't sort of official yet is this new device usage page. Now, this doesn't work, I don't think, but what this will eventually be able to do is sort of customize your PC by telling Microsoft the different sort of reasons why you'll be using your PC. So if this is a gaming laptop that I also use for schoolwork, I can select gaming and schoolwork. And what that I assume will do is sort of customize the start menu and the taskbar and automatically pin things that it thinks you might want to use more often because you're using this device for these certain tasks. If I selected gaming and schoolwork, for example, it might pin Xbox and Office to the taskbar. Or if I selected entertainment and business, it might pin Netflix or movies and TV, as well as Excel or something else that business people use. So there you go. This is a thing that they're kind of working on. This is also the same UI that Microsoft were testing in the out-of-box experience. This is essentially that, but just inside the settings app as well. So you can change it once you've set that for the first time when setting up a new device. Again, it doesn't actually work yet, unfortunately, so you can do anything you want here. Nothing really happens. But yeah, I think the nice thing is you can also turn it off if you don't want Windows trying to guess what it is you will be using. You can turn it off so it won't do that. So pretty nice. So there you have it. That's basically all of the notable new changes and enhancements Microsoft have added to the last few builds. Thank you so much for watching, and we shall see you in the next one. Bye-bye.